Next method in the recovery is solvent extraction. That means the method used for the extraction of solvent. So we can call it as recovery of solvent by the process of distillation. So distillation, it may be achieved in these three stages. First step is evaporation, the removal of solvent as vapor from a solution. Second step is vapor liquid separation in a column to separate the lower boiling, more volatile components from other less volatile components. And the last step is condensation of vapor to recover the more volatile solvent fraction. Evaporation is the removal of solvent from a solution by the application of heat to the solution. There are two methods of distillation: batch distillation and continuous distillation. The major difference is batch distillation has a limit of volume, whereas there is no limit of volume in case of continuous distillation process. This is the diagram of batch distillation unit, in which we can see at the bottom there is an evaporator which is connected to a heating jacket. This is the container for the mixture to be distilled, means the fermentation broth containing solvent or any liquid containing this solvent, volatile solvent. It is stored in this evaporator where the temperature is raised. Then the second component attached to this evaporator is distillation column. Distillation column, it consists of insulating chamber which consists of stainless steel plates or trays. These plates or trays are perforated, that means they have holes in them that allows the passage of vapors that rise from the evaporator. Then these vapors will enter into the next component called as condenser. Condenser, it is attached to cooling water through cooling water inlet and cooling water outlet. And the last component is the collector, fraction collector. So where several fractions which are condensed, the liquids are collected into several compartments called as fractions: first fraction, second fraction, and nth fraction. These are the components of batch distillation unit. Now let us see how exactly it operates. In the first step, obviously, the contents to be distilled are placed in an evaporator where the temperature is raised. As a result of increase in temperature, the compounds or the solvents which are volatile will get converted from liquid form to the vapor form. Then these vapors will rise in the distillation column. So the temperature of these vapors will be helpful to increase the temperature of distillation column. These vapors will be used to increase the temperature of stainless steel plates which are present in distillation column. So this is how initially the temperature of distillation column is increased due to the vapors that rise through the evaporator. This is how the vapors will rise through these pores present in perforated plates. These vapors will further enter into the next chamber, that is condenser. As condenser has a dropped temperature, these vapors are get converted into liquid form. Then this liquid is allowed to re-enter into the distillation column. It is called as reflux. This is done initially so that the temperature of the distillation column it can be adjusted. So initially there is a reflux of the liquid that arise from condenser. It is called as condensate. So the condensate initially it is refluxed back into distillation column. Once the temperature is set, then whatever the vapors that arise from the evaporator will enter into distillation column. These vapors will further enter into condenser, and then from condenser now the condensates can be collected into different fractions. They are called as first fraction, second fractions, or so on and so forth. So this is continued till there is presence of solvent detected in the condensate. This is the working of batch distillation process. Second method of distillation is continuous distillation process. This is the diagram for continuous distillation plant with a tray or perforated plate column. So the components of this distillation plant are: there is a boiler, or we can call it as evaporator, which is connected to the heating mantle. So this heating mantle it is useful to heat the liquid that is present in the evaporator. Second component of this distillation plant is distillation column. This distillation column it consists of perforated stainless steel plates. In between we can see there is, at the center there is an inlet for the entry of mixture, and then the vapors are finally collected into condenser, same like it happens in case of batch distillation plant. So condenser is attached to cooling water inlet and cooling water outlet, and finally the distillate is collected continuously and not in fractions. Now let us see the working of this continuous distillation unit. So whatever the liquid initially is taken into evaporator. So this evaporator will be responsible for the generation of steam. It will be responsible for the generation of vapors. These vapors will rise and they will enter into this distillation column. So the function of these vapors is to increase the temperature of the perforated stainless steel plates which are present in distillation column. So these vapors will be useful to increase the temperature. These vapors will be then allowed to rise and separate. Finally, the vapors will reach to the condensation chamber, that is condenser, where the vapors are converted into the liquid form. Initially, the whole liquid or the condensate is refluxed back into distillation column. So this is again required to initiate or to get the desirable temperature in the distillation column. So this This is done in the beginning only. So once the temperature is set, then the reflux is not needed. So once the temperature of the distillation column is set enough, then the mixture which is to be distilled, it is fed at the center, there where there is an inlet for the entry of the mixture. So from this end, in the middle, from this inlet, there is addition of the mixture which is to be distilled. So there will be a counter current contact between the mixture droplets and the vapors. So vapors are rising from the bottom to top and the mixture is coming from top to bottom. So there will be counter current contact between the steam vapor and the liquid droplet. So whatever the solvent is there which is present in the droplet of incoming mixture, it will be immediately vaporized and these vapors will rise at the top and it will reach to the condenser where these vapors are converted into liquid form, and this is how the distillate is continuously collected. This is the working of continuous distillation plant. So these two methods of continuous distillation and batch distillation are useful for the recovery of solvents or for the recovery of volatile compounds.